I know there are that many kids in in Indiana.
I don't freaking know. Probably at this point.
But you're getting a lot of support from YouTube. Are you making money with this yet?
Not yet.
Because once you get to 1,000, you should start to make money.
So let's talk about. Me and Brendan went to go to Boone County Line Road just to go look for some cool stuff. He found a J anchor. I found a rowboat. That's all we really found. But
you went where now?
we went to go take a peek at Boone County Line.
Did you go down to where the track was, where I showed you yesterday?
Correct.
Did you go in the woods or onto that dude's property?
No.
You went into the woods?
No.
Where'd you go?
We looked around outside of it, outside where the trail crosses, and we found a couple things.
Did you go into the woods part? That's what I'm asking. Or did you go on that dude's property?
If I went in the woods, that would be trespassing.
Well, no, not exactly. At the moment, it's public owned.
Well, yeah, technically I did go in the woods, but also the crossing.
Well, I've been in it before. I'd talk with people from Kirkland, because Kirkland's already bought all that property. But, as much as you hang out with Brendan, you ain't got his phone number?
Nope. It's really sad to see the Monon track is completely gone in this town. And fun fact, this town actually used to be called Middlewood back in 1912. We all really do miss the Monon track. We all wish it was still here. But I do have a couple of spike plates and some spikes and some ties left over from the track. Well, actually more than a couple, but I have a couple of pictures of my garage. If you guys want to come visit, if you guys don't live in Jordan, I can show you guys around my little garage spike plate museum. And completely free of charge to come in and go see it. But yeah, we all do miss the Monon track a lot, and it was pretty hard to see them tear up the tracks. It was heartbreaking because it was a very historic railroad that ran through all of Indiana, all of Chicago, and Louisville. And it's just really sad. And it was just such a great railroad, and everybody just misses it a lot. And yeah. And by the way, this is Andrew Place speaking. Go subscribe to my channel. And yeah, so anyways, that's what I all gotta say right now. If you're actually here with us right now, are you with us? No, he is not. Okay. Well then, I guess I would just talk about, more Monon history. And yeah. So the Monon Railroad track ran through Sheridan, along with all of Indiana, Chicago, Louisville, Kentucky. Now, if you look around most of Indiana, like Monon City, you can still see the Monon Grand Junction Railway. And now the Monon CSX and the normal CSX run that track. Yeah, it was a pretty historic track, and the CSX and the Monon CSX are still running through it to tribute to the Monon track, and oh, I am so sorry about that. But yeah, the Monon track, which is such a very historic track, and yeah, like I said, we all miss it. It ran for about 60 years before it got shut down in 1971. So not that long ago, actually, not that long ago. And the Sheridan Depot, which is right down 47, it's about 200-something years old, just like the Monon track was almost. And Monon 83A, I think it's gone. I think it's worth the scrap. But it's just it was such a very historic track, and we really all do miss it. But, yeah. Jackson, are you in this right now?
Well, the Monon 83A is in nickel plate road paint scheme in Forest Park, but I'm about done. We have one viewer.
We got a viewer.
Yeah.
Howdy, partner. Yeah. So, Jackson, do you got anything to say to our viewers about the Monon? Are you here? Alright, he went to go warm up his tea again. But, I will show you guys a couple of my little glass insulators I got. Alright. Pretty mint condition blue glass insulator from the Monon power lines, along with this crystal clear one. But I have a very mint condition one that I'll show you guys right now. It's in the case, so I gotta take it out. By the way, second viewer, welcome to the channel. Sorry about that. So I would like to show you guys my quiet. Okay. I want to show you guys my mint condition one I got. It's model number 40, and it's a Hemon gray. Yeah, Hemon gray. And it's a very antique vintage glass insulator from the Monon power bolts that no longer exist in some ways, but if you look around the Monon trail, you can still see half of them sitting around on the left and right sides. But this one is very special because it is very mint condition. There is only one tiny crack, but they shot it with a BB, but that didn't do nothing because these things are made of glass and they're very... Hold on, I'm going to do that. God. And yes, they very are almost indestructible. But I do have a steam engine, the Santa Fe. I'm showing the viewers all my Monon collection stuff I have. It is quite a bunch. Alright guys, so forgot to mention, here are all my spike plates from the Monon track I've collected over the couple months. But as you can see, I got a couple little railroad signs up that I printed. And I got all these, which is the steam engine crashing on the bridge. Very historic moment there. And I've got all these, and I've got 82A on my wall, and I've got a railroad signal metal flag thing, and I've got this one signed by the conductor of the Monon, and I've got a bigger one. And yeah, it was a pretty historic railroad, but I've also got a piece of the rail attachment right here, along with a couple bolts and a couple spike plates on it. And as you can tell, it does say Monon the Hoosier line. Very historic railroad, very classic railroad, very special railroad. But I got a couple spike plates along with this mini one. It's a bit rusty, but still got the cool design on it. And I've got the one that says USA 40, which is the model number, along with this one saying South Track 41. And once again, USA it says on it. But here was one of the historic railroad crossing signs. But I do have a double shoulder spike plate right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. There we go. A double shoulder spike plate, that spike plate, that one, and I've got a couple more up here, and along with right down here. Yes, there's a lot of spikes. It's confusing, but I also got a couple rubber anchors like this, this, and this, along with all these here. But pretty special little collection in here. Like, oh, and also I got my little coal shovel here that I found.
Yeah. All right, let's explain to me everything that you were saying about the railroads, because you got the Monon or the Milwaukee Road 83A. You got that wrong. It isn't gone. Hey,
You mean this one?
Yeah, that's Milwaukee Road 83A, and that's in Tipton just before they took the signal out, the crossing signal.
And this
The DS. That's the.
milk
It's
factory.
not the brick factory, but the milk factory.
That was in Sheridan. That was in Sheridan. That was in Sheridan. That was Park Street, actually.
Yeah.
But back to what you were saying.
If you go to Monon 50 right there, up one, that is at the Indiana Transportation Museum. It looks like that was the caboose rides in the very final days.
There's the Monon one.
Yeah, for a while, that nickel plate caboose right there was painted in the Monon scheme. Then the Monon Railroad Historical Society donated the 81528, and now the Nickel Plate Express runs 81528.
This was 513, 52, 82A right there.
I have a model of 52.
And also have 603 when it was basically brand new.
Well, we're running on about a half hour. We're doing good. All right, but let's talk about the old Indiana Transportation Museum. They started back in 1960, really just as a trolley line. They ran their old trolleys and built that little line in Forest Park, but as of today, it's been tore up. They also built that rail yard. It was along the nickel plate line then, so they couldn't really haul excursion trains because it was still being used by the nickel plate road. They really did that until 1983 when they got both the F units running, Milwaukee Road 83 and Milwaukee Road 96, and they operated it on the former Monon line from, I believe, Westfield to the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Do you have anything you would like to add on to the Indiana Transportation Museum, or any questions by chance?
Well, what type of trains did they have there before they shut it down for good?
Well, they were hauling trains about weekly. They used, for a second, they were using 99 for the caboose rides. That was back before the 90s and in the 90s. They used Monon 50 to switch out the yard. They used 426 and 200 often for the fair train. They used 83 and 96 back in the 90s for... I'm all right. I think I'm good.
So yeah, did they actually use both the Monon steam engines in that area at one point?
No, that was the Nickel Plate Road. Their old location was on the former Nickel Plate main line. That's where the Nickel Plate Express is now. The only steam engine they ever used was the Nickel Plate Road 587. But when ITM got into all their trouble with Noblesville, 587 was shoved off to Ravenna, and it's sitting there in pieces right now, owned by a private owner that won't do anything with it.
I have a feeling that the real Monon steam engine is down there in Wisconsin.
Well, it's close to it, but not exactly. Wisconsin is where the Big Boy runs often, but Big Boy is the Union Pacific. But what used to be Monon 83, it's right now Nickel Plate Road 83. It is the next restoration project for the Nickel Plate Express. But they have all these engines and very few trains. See, the Indiana Transportation Museum, they had all kinds of rail cars. See, they got to a point where they had so much they couldn't keep it all in one rail yard. Then the health inspector showed up, didn't like it. They got into a legal battle with Noblesville. Everything south of 8th Street was cut up and turned into the Nickel Plate Trail. It was awful. The ITM, for a moment in time, did not know what they were doing. They had too much stuff than they could handle. So in 2018, the Hoosier Heritage Port Authority decided we're done with these people and brought a new train in, the Nickel Plate Express. And when that first happened, I only gave them about 5 years. I didn't think they'd last. But here we are in 2024. They got Hobbs Depot restored, got 200 and 426 running. And they're doing good for themselves. At least I think. I don't know. I don't know about anything legally. But they sure don't have as many things as the ITM once had. When ITM was kicked out of there were 113 cars. Now there are only 12.
Well, I'm starting to think that the reason why they took up the Monon track is due to malfunctions and some water regulations.
The reason they took out the Monon was because after the Monon merged with Louisville and Nashville, the LNN, Louisville and Nashville, did not want that line, so they abandoned it for a while. Then an Indiana Railroad come up and bought it and operated it until about the 1990s. Then they were finally fed up with that railroad because it was not profitable anymore. Do you know what that means? They weren't getting no money from it. Nobody was needing the line. So it started in Carmel. They cut up the line and turned it into a trail. Now that was very successful. It still is today. But no, nothing went wrong with the Monon other than they had to merge.
And also, once they got done with Carmel, they kept coming through Sheridan. And then
they kept going. Then from Carmel, they stretched it to Indianapolis. Then they started heading northbound. Then they made it to Westfield. And then for a while, the Sheridan Monon Trail only stretched from 47 to 6 points. It did not connect with the Westfield Monon. And it's truly something. It makes me wonder what Sheridan would look like if the tracks were still there and in use. But I will be right back.
All right. Let's talk about the new phase for the Monon phase 2, like the new car, like the new future for it.
Well, all there really is to say is sometime this week they're going to start clearing to the County Line Road, and then sometime in December or after, sometime next year in about January, they're going to start paving it to the County Line Road.
So we're probably going to find a whole bunch of spike plates and spikes and ties and yeah. Well, me and Brendan, because like he has the wagon and stuff for it. My wagon wheel broke off, so I can't. That thing's out of commission. So
my wagon is a 15-foot trailer.
Yeah, that can pull off stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't know you if it wasn't on County Line Road. But that's going to be a really interesting trail, and including going to Frankfort. I've been to Westfield on the Monon Trail. I've enjoyed it, but I really like to go to Frankfort, because Frankfort is my second favorite town.
Now, you see, the question is, near Boone County Line Road, where I went with Brendan today, I noticed where the other part is Boone County Line's Road. I noticed where the track used to go, there was now a hole right there. I'm like, how did the track get over that? Unless that wasn't even there. But the Sheridan used to be Millwood, but it used to be Swamp Point also.
Farmers.
The way you said it, farmers. Farmers did that. Oh, we got 3 viewers now. Okay, so we're kind of skyrocketing here. But,
I wonder who that third viewer is, because one's this phone and the other's my TV.
Your TV?
Yeah, one's my phone and the other's a TV.